All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our webinar on the great conversation about tokenization. I have my friend Alex Chan with me. Good morning, afternoon, Alex.
Good afternoon, everyone.
It's great to have you, Alex. We'll start with some introductions. I'll introduce myself, and then I want to get people to understand where you're coming from and how you've gotten into the space. But most of you know. My name is Shannon Robnett. I'm a second-generation builder-developer, fourth-generation realtor. Don't hold the realtor part against me. But, I've been in this space for almost 30 years, and in that time, we've done about $310 million worth of construction. We've raised about $45 million in capital, and we've gotten to a place where we're starting to really see some inroads into how to make processes better. And that's kind of really where, we've looked at bringing the investment portion of real estate. Real estate is not a sexy investment. It doesn't move fast. It doesn't change colors. It doesn't multiply. It doesn't do any of the things that Apple stock does, but it's so steady and it's so consistent. And the thing that I really love about it is that when we set up a syndication, we know that we're in a growth mode, and while real estate doesn't usually do 35% growth every year, it can, but it will be consistent, it will be steady, and that's the one thing that I've seen my whole life. I was talking with somebody the other day, Alex, on the plane on the way back, and they were saying how even at the peak of '06, '07, if you took the highest price you had then and all you did was hold on to your asset, you still had a really great return if you're still sitting on that asset today. Mm-hmm. So, Alex, tell us a little bit about what your background is, and then we can kind of get started on why blockchain, and then talk about what blockchain capitalists are doing in that space.
Sure. I am out of Los Angeles, been working in the tech industry for good 2 decades. I've been in companies like Lower My Bills, Snapchat, Magnite, and I've also been involved in real estate. I did a short stint before 2008 crash at an investment firm. We were doing apartment flips into condos. And I've always had an interest in real estate, and that's how I met Shannon. Was it last year where I got involved in one of your deals?
Yep.
And I learned more about syndication and what it can do. And my mind coming from the tech space was like, oh, this is really interesting. And when I learned about tokenization, it really blew my mind in terms of me as an investor. It created this idea of liquidity, and that's where I really dive deep into the space.
So, Alex, one thing that we have to start with is what is the change in technology that's coming, that is happening now, with everything from the internet to how money flows and everything about blockchain, and what does all of that do to combine into this space of tokenization?
From my experience, I've been around since Web 1.0, and with Web 1.0, it was read-only technology. Web 2.0 was read and write, and now Web 3.0, you can read, write, and own your data. And the beautiful part about that is that with blockchain and tokens, your data you can see anywhere, anytime. It's on this ledger. There's nothing that's hidden. It's very transparent, and that's what the value is for me. Mm-hmm. On the real estate side is these tokens would have all the data for that particular project or investment on that token itself.
So when we're talking about a token, you call it a token because, it really sounds like a digital security, right?
Yes.
It's got coded information in there. What is it that entraps the PPM and the distribution, the cap table, all of the things that go into a syndication? Where does all that hide out in a token?
So a token is just a manifestation, like a physical thing of a smart ledger. It really is a smart contract, which is code, where all the information is just on this code represented as a token. So people understand, hey, this token here has all the information about this particular property, the PPM, the title information, the cap table, all that stuff. And that's what the token represents, is all the information about that project.
So now, when we look at what that is, and it's funny because when I think of tokens, I think of Chuck E. Cheese, right? I think about taking my kids there, and you exchanged your U.S. dollars for these tokens, and sometimes you'd get 20 tokens for $1. So you would go, okay, well, I'm trying to dollar denominate that thinking, so I'm getting 5 cents. Each one of these games, I got to put 3 tokens in, so it's 15 cents, and you're trying to do that conversion back and forth, right? But really, all of this, the token is the digital security. What I'm hearing you say, it's the digital security that's set up on a blockchain technology.
Right.
Like, what one are you doing your tokens in primarily?
Ethereum.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're using the Ethereum network. The token rides on top of that, and that's the program that tells the blockchain what to record. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So guys, I'm thoroughly impressed with myself because I'm hanging with Alex right here, and I'm keeping up with the terms here. But the reality is, at the end of the day, you have the blockchain technology, which, like your Web 3.0, where you own your data and it's displayed on an immutable ledger, so is your token.
Yes.
So is your contract. So now people can see. Can they see inside your smart contract?
No, but they can see the actual with the mask or the hashtag. They can see like, hey, this transaction happened, and because blockchain is an open source concept, anyone in the world can verify that.
Okay, so if I were to buy from Chuck 100 tokens of a project or a product or whatever, everybody can see that wallet A sold to wallet B 100 tokens at, can they see the price?
They can see the price.
Okay. And but they can't necessarily, they only have access to the data that you put on the wallet that you sold it from. Okay.
Yeah, just like Bitcoin, you can see the price of that coin move is because it's actually, people are buying and selling Bitcoin, and that price is visible. So everyone knows the value of that Bitcoin because someone said, hey, I think it's worth 40, and someone bought $40,000.
Okay. So at Blockchain Capitalist, your goal is to go after real assets.
Yes.
So help me understand what the difference is between like all these other, you've got, what is there, like 15,000 coins right now.
Right.
All of those represent some sort of something. What is all of that about?
So every token out there is based off of something, but what we're building with Blockchain Capitalist is a security token. And that token means it's a security token because it's based on a real asset. And in this case, it's a real estate project.
So really, it sounds to me, and this is what intrigued me about it, was it sounds to me like you're creating the same thing for me to be able to do that with either, I could do it with a house, I could do it with a really rare stamp, I could do it with a classic car, I could do it with an airplane, I could do it with 1,000 acres in the mountains. I could do anything I wanted to do fractionalized ownership, which is really what we do at syndications.
Yep.
On that level, we are taking that and we're saying, hey guys, we're going to be the general partner, we're going to do the work, we're going to do all these things, and we're going to create this project. Now I'm able to take that and say that we raised $20 million. We're now going to be able to offer that in a digital security format through Blockchain Capitalists.
Yep.
And they're going to be able to have that in their wallet. So why is that any different than just signing the DocuSign document and sending it back to me and getting on with your life?
Well, the beauty of tokens, and I can answer that as a current real estate investor, is the liquidity.
Okay, that's the second time you've mentioned liquidity.
Right.
Help me understand what you mean by that.
So currently, if I was in a syndication, I would have a period that I'm locked up. And if, say, there's a life event where I need to get my money out, I either have to find someone to replace my position or the syndicator will. And that's very tough.
Yeah. I've had that happen a couple of times where people call and they're like, hey, life isn't what it was. I want to get out. And I'm like,
Right.
What do you want me to do? Well, I raised the money. We're doing the deal. I'm now doing the job that everybody else in the syndication hired me to do. I'm making sure the buildings get built. I'm making sure the tenants get moved in. I got to go find 50 or 100 or $200,000. It's like, what are you talking about, right? So how does that happen if I bought in and I bought in, let's just say I got $100,000 worth. I bought into an asset 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden I got a daughter that's getting married, and I need 50 grand for a wedding.
So the beautiful thing with that is we're working with technology partners.
Okay.
Once our project is tokenized, we have the platform where you can say, Shannon, I need to pay for my daughter's wedding. I have, let's just say, 100 tokens, for example.
Okay.
I need to move this, and you can sell as many of your tokens as you see fit based on the price of the market, and you would put that just like a stock price or Apple share of Apple, going, hey, I want to put my 100 tokens on this market for X amount of dollars, and there could be another investor and go, hey, I'm looking for a syndication, and based on that projection of your project, I want to buy your token.
So now I'm starting to put this picture together in my mind. So when you say you're working with technology partners, you've got the guys that make your tokens,
Yes.
and then you've got the guys that host your marketplace.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden I want to get rid of them. You're not buying them back.
No.
I'm putting them on the marketplace,
Right.
and then other people are coming to the marketplace like Craigslist,
Yes.
or like the New York Stock Exchange, right?
Yep.
They're coming to that. But how do we value all that? How do we track all that? I mean, let's talk about how do you value that?
Right. So in a traditional market, as a syndicator, I would not see the value of that until the project is done.
Right.
Right now, we're working with a partner that's doing data of Web 3.0. They're partnered with Cushman & Wakefield, and they will appraise your property when you send them anything that adds value to it. So if you have a property that's in the middle of renovation and you've done, say, half of the units, that added value, and this partner will go in and look, okay, half your units are renovated. This means your property is worth this much, and on that tokenized model, your actual tokens are worth more too because of that added value.
Okay, wait. So let's say I bought the property for $10 million.
Yep.
And I said I was going to spend $1 million, and I've spent $500,000. Would I send in all my bills and all my invoices, and then when I got the new leases, I'd send in all my leases, and these guys are, what are they doing? They're putting all this on blockchain?
Yep.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
That's the technology. So now, not only, what I'm hearing you say is not only is the information about the asset being purchased, but every subcontractor, every dollar spent, every screw, every staple, every inspection, every lease, every bit of information about this building from the time I bought it until the time I sell it is all being recorded.
Right.
Dude, that's like a due diligence dream.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to keep records at that point. I probably would, but I wouldn't have to keep records of every single thing I did because people would be able to look at the chain and read everything that was done and go, oh, wow, they spent $500,000 on the renovation. They still have $500 to go. They've got 10 leases that are old that are $1,000, but they got 10 leases that are new that are $1,500. Then what happens with all that information that tells me how the building's worth?
All that information gets on the blockchain.
Then,
So that data will be sent. We send all the information over for the building.
okay.
They consume all that, and they go, this is great. We're going to take all the information, and your property will be worth this much because of all that info. And now your token sees that value because of that data.
So the company you're working with compiles that, gives it to Cushman & Wakefield, and Cushman & Wakefield spits out the price?
They are partnered with Cushman & Wakefield,
Okay, I
and they
get
have
it.
that massive database
I
of commercial
get it.
real estate.
So it's kind of like CoStar or the
Yeah.
MLS and
Yes.
all of that kind of mishmashing together.
Right.
Way techie stuff, way beyond me, right? But it's all bringing all that together. So now I know. And how often does that data come out?
As often as you send it to them.
Okay, so if I'm a syndicator and I'm only sending it in once a quarter, I'm only going to get an update once a quarter.
Right.
But if I'm sending it every month, I'll be able to give my investors a monthly update.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy. So I just turned in a draw request on Summertown. I think we only spent about $900,000 this month. So, yeah, that was just one project. But what I hear you saying is we would be able to say that to our investors we added $900,000 in value because we started out, as all projects start out, we raise the money, and then the first thing the banks has us do is they have us spend all of our money.
Right.
And then the bank starts loaning us money. But really, we started out with a bare piece of ground, okay? And we bought the ground, and then that deed and that title and everything, that gets written on the blockchain. And then we spent $900,000. So now they say, hey, you spent $2 million on the ground. Now your project's worth $3 million because you spent $900,000. And then the next month. So you can literally not only physically see the building get built,
Yep.
you can watch it get built on blockchain in pricing.
Right. And that's the beauty of Web 3.0. Is data is everything.
Data
And
is
the block-
power, right?
Yeah. And the
Okay.
blockchain allows for that data to be recorded anytime, anywhere, and everyone can see it. It's transparent.
Okay, so now I get all done with the project. Now my property management people, they're stepping in, they're signing all the leases. All the leases are getting recorded.
Yep.
We're doing our maintenance inspections. We're doing, we had mold in 204. We went and remediated it. We got a clean bill of health. We record all that. So now I've owned this project for 4 or 5 years, and I want to sell it as a syndicator. The benefit is all of my data's done. If we're still in the environment that we're in, where you got to go hard, you got to go fast, you got to put up big earnest money in order to get projects, it makes sense that this would make your due diligence time period very, very short.
All right. If I was another investor and you're trying to sell on the open market, I could see all that information on the blockchain and go, wow, this is legit, because it's immutable.
Right.
Someone can't go in there and fudge the numbers.
Right?
And my due diligence period is way shorter than what the traditional model would have been. Because you would have been like 5 years
Right.
worth of stuff, send it to me,
Right.
I got to look.
Here's a file
Yeah.
folder. We'd have had to get 6 people involved, set up Dropbox. Then we'd had to get
Right.
the other 8 people on the other side access to that Dropbox. That'd take about a week. I
Right.
mean, the way we work, but
Yeah.
because we don't like Dropbox. But so now this is just part of what you're doing with blockchain that I can see the value in, just from an operator standpoint. Now, when I say, hey, we've had 6% rent increases for the last 5 years, and you go, yeah, right.
Right.
You can actually see the last 5 years of leases because they're recorded.
Right.
That's crazy. Okay. All right. I'm going down a rabbit trail. That's part of it, right? That's part of it. So that company shows me what the value is. You've got another company that's creating the token and locking up the smart contract. Then you've got the other entity that's created the platform, the marketplace, the New York Stock Exchange of token trading.
Right.
So what are they doing? They're buying my token, right?
Right. What they do is they will whitelist other people, because as a security, there is KYC, know your
Right.
customers, and AML, anti-money laundering. So everyone on that platform has been vetted. So you
Okay.
can put your token up for sale.
Okay.
And
So you're not buying my token,
no.
but I'm coming in, I'm saying, I've looked at my report, I see what it's worth. I go, report says $100, but I'm a really smart investor, so I'm going to list mine for 110.
Right.
Can I do that?
You can list it for whatever you want. It's just like selling stock. You can list your stock at a buy or sell price,
Okay.
and it's up to the
So-
market to fulfill that order.
So I bought the token with US dollars. The syndicator went to you. You created a token. You gave me back a token for that particular project. I now have the Summertown token,
Yep.
and I want to sell the token. But let's just say I want to buy. I want Bitcoin for that. Can I get Bitcoin for that?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have to get US dollars back.
No. You
Oh,
can exchange it for whatever currency, fiat,
Okay.
crypto
so
you want.
Could I get Australian dollars?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, that's cool. So you could really take this to a whole nother level that we won't go to. That you could actually be a forex trader inside of
Right.
this too. Oh God, you'd have to be way smarter than me to do that. But what I'm hearing you say is that now I have the ability to say, nah, this syndication was supposed to go for 7 years. It's made enough. I want to get out.
Yes, and that is the high picture, the macro picture of what blockchain can do, is to create liquidity for the investors to trade with other investors and get in and out of your positions at any time.
So how does that work when I'm looking at it and I'm going, hey, you know what? I bought this in January. It's now October. I'm going to sell it. Who makes the decision on what happens there with the K1s and all that stuff?
Well, there is a 366-day hold period due to SEC law, but after that, the K1s, you would speak to your accountant, treat it like stocks, and then you would have to get your accountant's guidance on how to treat that.
So does each new token holder have to hold for 366 days?
No.
Okay. So just the first guy.
The first guy.
Because the SEC, because they do
Right.
that with us syndicators, right? We
Right.
can't sell our positions for at least a year.
Right.
Because the anti-money laundering laws, they think
Yeah.
we're funding Al Qaeda, right?
Yep.
I'm just funding millennial entitled kids, man. That's all I'm funding, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to go back to the beginning. We bought the land. We spent the money each month. We made it worth something. And I said, my syndication says that we're going to hold this and operate this for 5 years.
Right.
Susie calls. She doesn't even have to call me, does she?
No.
She can just go to the platform. She doesn't even have to call. There's no phone to call.
No. It's just like your stock on E-Trade, Robinhood. If you want to sell your stock, just go on there and click, and boom.
So they're going to put it on the platform.
Yep.
You got to buy, a bid, a sell. It happens. They get their Bitcoin or their whatever. They take that to their accountant. Their accountant figures out whether they've got taxable events or not. All of that stuff is all taken care
Right.
of. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, the mechanism to trade for that liquidity is there. And going back to that price, if you need to move quick, just like anything else in life, you could
Sure.
set it lower and you could sell it faster.
Now, would I be able to see if other people are selling in my syndication? If I was thinking, well, I want to sell, could I see if other people are too?
Yeah, that's the beauty of blockchain.
So I could
The ledger
okay.
is open.
So I could if I kind of thought something was funky with this guy and the project was taking too long and things weren't happening right and I thought maybe somebody was going to get screwed, I could sell, especially if I saw other people selling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So the reality is we are going into a place where we can now assign a digital security to a real asset, trade that real asset at our leisure, not necessarily have to be tied to the syndicator's timeline, and at the same time, we can stay if we want.
Yep.
We can get out early if we want.
Yep.
We can move around all over. Now, I don't have to sell. Do I have to tokenize my asset?
No.
So if we raise $20 million on Summertown and only half the people want to tokenize, you can just tokenize their stuff. You don't have to tokenize my stuff.
Correct.
So I can just be old-fashioned.
You can.
But then I don't get the liquidity. If I don't elect
No.
up front, we can't do it later, right?
Yeah.
So it's a one-or-done thing.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about it, and this is amazing technology. So when you're putting all this stuff together and you're trying to envision how all of this happens, why, I mean, you're not the only company that's doing that, right?
No.
Why is your company the better company?
Well, because we have real estate experience and knowledge.
Okay.
A lot of guys out there could build the tech, but they don't understand the nuance of the real estate deal.
It's kind of like all the armchair quarterbacks on Sunday rooting for their favorite team, but they couldn't execute a
Right.
lateral pass at
Exactly.
all, right?
I
don't even
know
what a
the
lateral
use
pass is.
case because I'm a current investor. I know
Right.
like the pain points, the friction, all that stuff.
Okay. So this is really, and this is what we have seen, is that it creates the ability for people to go on and to do other things. How does it deal with payments? So like we've got Airport Plaza, right? And we've tokenized that with blockchain capitalists. That's no secret. And we are getting ready to have a quarterly distribution. What happens with that quarterly distribution?
It gets attached to the token.
So if I know that we have 10 investors and we're just going to say that they all have 100,000 tokens, so and I've got $10,000 to distribute, it goes straight to their wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to get mailed out like a regular check.
No.
Doesn't go through their bank, so the FDIC is not recording their $600 transaction.
Nope.
Okay. So now nothing really changes. It's a one and done for the investor. They're going to now get those payments into their wallet, and those payments are going to be something that is in the native token and or fiat, depending on what they want.
Yep, it all depends on what you want.
Okay. So now I can get whatever I want. I can order it the way I want it. That's a great thing there. So when we're all done, I'm thinking about Elon Musk right now, right?
Yep, everyone is.
I know, right? That guy is he has a way of making a splash, right? But he decided that everybody on Twitter is going to sell to him. And if you own Twitter stock, you don't have that choice.
Right.
So that's kind of like the syndicator. He sold all the shares anyway in the beginning, and he knows that at the end of 5 years, everybody's going to sell that back, and they don't have a choice. Even though I created you a token,
Right.
that's all written in the smart contract, right?
Yep.
But if I want to sell early, I can get out early.
Yes.
Okay. So that makes a ton of sense. I can see. So one of the things that I worry about as a syndicator is keeping my records straight.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody got in, we recorded it all, we sent out all the K1s, we just did that a couple months ago. We got all that gnarly mess all put out. Now all of a sudden, all the cats are going to start moving. Everybody, we got people selling this, they're going to move to that, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. How do I, as a syndicator, keep track of all that information?
All that is on the blockchain and the ledger.
So, because I got into your platform,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave you all my KYC, and I gave you my MetaMask wallet, and I gave you all that information, and then I went over and I bought 100 of Charlie's tokens, you did all that recording for the syndicator, for me, and for Charlie?
Yeah, with our partners, all that tech is in the system.
So there's no way that that gets screwed up?
No, it's immutable. That's the beauty of blockchain.
So then everybody that's in the Summertown deal knows that Charlie sold 100 shares, or that Wallet X sold 100 shares and Wallet Y bought it.
Right.
And then the accounting department knows to send Wallet Y the money,
Right.
not Wallet X.
Yes.
So as a syndicator, I can go on vacation.
If you like, yes.
That's awesome.
Or maybe find another deal, but it'll definitely free up your time where you're not bogged down by paperwork.
Right. So Alex, what else can you apply this technology to? Or I guess, should I be asking the question, what can't you apply this technology to?
You could apply it to any real asset that can be tokenized. You could
So
tokenize.
I could do it to a bar of gold. I could do it to a Mona Lisa. I could do it to an airplane. We all know I love airplanes. Come on. Boats, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Anything of value can be fractionalized and tokenized so everyone can own a piece of something.
Wow. Okay. But all of that is still governed by the LLC, by the offering memorandum, by the PPM, all of those legal documents, because the smart contract is attached.
Right.
That's great.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Alex, this has definitely been a lot, and I hope you guys that have been watching this are getting as much out of it as I've gotten out of it. Obviously, I've got a pretty good handle on it, but it's always nice to hear it explained by the guy that's at the front lines of developing the tech, developing and putting together all of the web design and all of that kind of stuff, all of the platforms and everything. And Alex, is your website live right now?
We're in the process of working and we'll be live soon.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to be live with that any day now, but you don't really need the website. And since the asset that was tokenized was Airport Plaza,
Right.
the platform will be up way before Airport Plaza is tradable in December.
All that is done.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we have all of that stuff done, and we're in a position to now tokenize additional assets that we have. It's just a question of educating our investors as to whether or not they want the liquidity or they don't want the liquidity, whether they feel that it gives them any benefit,
Right.
and if they want to make it immutable, right? And so, Alex, that's been great information, and I think we've taken a great opportunity to explain that. Is there anything that we've missed in all of our conversation here that we need to add to the conversation?
I'm thinking back on this conversation, and it was pretty good in terms of the broad knowledge to give everyone.
Yeah.
The number one thing I want people to take away from today's talk is that tokenization leads to liquidity, and for me personally, as an investor, I like that option of being able to move my money quicker.
No, and that's the one thing that I saw for sure on the benefit of that. And, you know, when people have the feeling of being in control, that was the one thing that we kind of encountered when we first started syndicating capitals. People said, so you say that's going to happen between 5 and 7 years. What if it happens in 8 years? Well, if we're getting to this mark, and if we're going to get that return, and it might take 8 years, then you're with us till 8 years. I had all the control, and they had none.
Right.
Now this allows them to have that kind of control. So, guys, we've set up a website here that Alex has got for you, that if you want to, you can go to. It's vertical equity at blockchaincapitalist.io. That's going to allow you to be on the list for what's coming out with Alex's product and when that is going to go live, so that you can be one of the first people to look at his look at his website, see what's going on with that, and we can go from there. Also, Alex, you've got, let me get to the right slide here. There we go. That looks a lot better. So you're going to be coming out with more products. You're going to be coming out with other deals from other syndicators, so it will be a platform that will be mixed. It won't just be me, because that's the goal, right, for your company, is to have many syndicators on it.
Right. The goal is to get, because we are in the real estate space, we have a lot of contacts and networks with other syndicators, and to provide this product for everyone. So this market will be growing, the platform will be growing, and you can sell your token not just to the people within your space, but any other syndicator space.
So really, what you've done, what you're doing, is you're creating, your widget is the platform, the tokenization, and the syndicator and the investor. But really, you're a large scale advertising agency that's going to be bringing people to assets.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's great. So, guys, we want to open it up for any questions, if you had any, and kind of see if we've got questions. If you want to raise your hand, if there's something we didn't get to, or you've got something in particular, just throw it in the chat, and we can get that. We'll try and get those questions answered for you, and we can make sure that we don't leave too many questions answered. I know that there's some things that you mentioned that one would need to consult their individual accountant about. I get that, because how they account for those things, it's kind of up to them, and there's different ways to do that in an accounting strategy. But if we don't have any questions, then we'll let Alex off the hook, and we sure appreciate you guys showing up. And we're going to continue to keep posted with you, Alex. And that's another thing. If you guys do go to the vertical equity at Blockchain Capitalist, you will get updates on what Alex's company is doing, as well as just general information, right, on what you guys are doing and what blockchain's doing. And it'll help keep people apprised of all the things that are going on, because I know that is a field, unlike real estate, that's actually got a lot of stuff happening in it. So real estate's, I mean, it's got a lot happening in it, but nothing's really changed. The last thing that changed is we added DocuSign to real estate, right?
Yeah.
And during even before the pandemic, you had to go in and actually physically sign to the title company. And then all of a sudden, everybody realized during the pandemic, we can't close any loans if we can't do this. So we have to make it all the way through. So, well, guys, we don't have any questions that I'm seeing here. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We want to thank you all for coming, and we will be sending out an invite for more information. Be sure to go to Vertical Equity at blockchaincapitalist.io and get more information on everything Alex has got going. All right, guys, thanks for coming. We'll leave it open for a little bit while we close out the room. We'll talk to you guys soon.